Special greetings and yes, welcome. Welcome to each and every one of you who choose to be here with me this evening. Those of you in Dominica, those of you in the regional space in which we live, and or further afield, welcome and welcome. Yes, indeed, it's a good day today in Dominica. We have been having some intermittent showers for the past few days, but today things have sort of, subsided, and a better day, I must record here indeed. And so tonight being the 25th night of January 2025, that is where again I want to say a special welcome and greetings to all of you who choose to be here at this time. Just about 5 minutes past 6 o'clock, and that is where we normally come together, sit around a figurative table, as it were, to hear some stuff, to discuss some stuff, especially about nation building and just how we as a people can rectify those ills that affect us, not just in Dominica, but in the region and the wider globe, that is. Again, welcome to each and every one of you. Those of you who may be tuning in for the very, very first time, thank you very much indeed. Those of you who have been here for the past couple of years, yours truly have been doing this engagement. I thank you each and every time for your eyes and ears. You know how time flies, folks, and so we are here just for an hour. And so we have to get right into things because an hour passes very, very fast when this kind of information is being dispensed. Yes? Today, folks, I want to start off like I usually do sometime with a situation that all of us should be, and these are choice words of mine, all of us should be rallying around, and that is the issue of health. Yes, proper health. Without health, it is said, basically, we are nothing. If I don't have that health on my side to come and engage with you guys each and every Saturday, then really and truly, I cannot do that. And so, all of you out there, your health should be very, very important to you, wherever you are. And so I believe that is one thing that we all should be rallying around in spite of our political, religious, whatever differences we may have. Health is something, people, that we should at all times be able to find some kind of common denominator and demand. Yes, I said demand the best health that our country can afford us, especially as it relates to the finance that that country is able to generate. So we should not mess around with our health. And so that is where I want to start this evening, the conversation with us. I know for some of us in Dominica, we have been trying our very best to rally around this whole electoral reform thing. I understand that. Some have been rallying, some have not been. And that is why I said before, at least health. We should all be rallying around this one. Dominicans, friends alike, and those of you who are there who may not necessarily like to hear what will be said, it is what it is. Thanks for tuning in nonetheless. This evening, folks, I want to start with our situation at the PMH. And it is usually said that at that facility that is supposed to be the main care facility in Dominica, that we have the best of everything there. Let me not just see what I want, but let me let you hear. Let me let you hear, people. At least when that was said, and in the context in which it was said, where it was said we have the best health care situation in Dominica. Take a listen, and then we will start our conversation in earnestly.
We have a fraction floor, we have a CT scan, we have a HIFU machine, we have an oncology department, we have some of the best bone surgeons in the Caribbean, we have some of the best very best eye care facility, top cutting edge stuff and so forth. So people come. And there are many Dominicans who live in the US Virgin Islands, in Guadeloupe, in St. Martin, in the United States, who come to Dominica for medical care, who come to Dominica for surgery because it's a fraction of what they do in the United States. I love it.
All right, let's just cut Roosevelt right here. Because what Roosevelt is saying, and for those of you who don't know, the voice that you're hearing now is the man who sits in the chair of the prime ministership in Dominica. So he is the prime minister in Dominica. And he's saying and has said that Dominica, as you heard him say, alluding to, Dominica is one of the countries which have the best healthcare in the world. When it comes for CT scan and MRI, and this hospital has this machine and that machine, and eye surgeries and everything is just, on top, right on top there. And folks, I can tell you, that is a lie, straight from the pit of hell. Dominica, as we speak, does not have the things that Roosevelt Skerrit is boasting about, straight up. And so let us just cut the chase right here in terms of all these lies. And I'm not just going to tell you his lies, but I'm going to present to you tonight some facts to debunk these lies, these downright lies, in terms of people now, real Dominicans, telling their story or stories as it relates to the health care, the proper health care that this guy keeps beating his chest about. Dominicans, I can tell you as a position of fact, it has been 3 months and counting. At the hospital, the eye section area cannot, I repeat, cannot, and have not been able to do any eye surgeries in Dominica as it relates to a situation that has been ongoing, forbidding the nurses, the doctors to perform their surgeries. So again, I want to repeat, Roosevelt, I know you normally listen, and I know you will hear. At the eye care facility at the PMH, it is past 3 months now, 90-something days and counting, that not one surgery can be performed on the people who are so in need of getting these eyes surgeries done. And that is a position of fact. I said it before. The AC, the air conditioning unit at that facility, at that section, it is out of order. And so that situation has been hindering the professionals there from doing or performing their task to the best of their ability. And so they have to postpone, push back, whatever it is. These surgeries, when people come to basically get these health procedures done. So a simple thing like the air conditioning unit at the eye care center, the eye care section, it has not been functioning up to par. It has not been working. It has gone bad. And we all know, I'll not go into detail now because of the time constraint. The Chinese, when they were refurbishing this hospital, came in, put in this unit, and did not train anybody, did not see fit to get anybody en courant, as we say in Dominica, with the AC unit and other aspects of that hospital, so that when these things go bad, which they will sometime because it's, you know, that's just a part of life. No one, absolutely no one, is fit and proper to repair this stuff. And so what I'm being told from a very factual standpoint, the part or the parts that would need it to fix that machine came in. They ordered the part. The hospital ordered the part. There's a company here, a local company in Dominica, that is being owed thousands of dollars as it pertains to their services now to that hospital. That local company was called upon at least to attempt to repair. That local company demanded at least some of their owed funds be paid to them. And so there was no arrangement, no agreement reached as per payment now, so that company had to pull up. Whoever it is at the hospital decided now to go on to giving that part or these parts to one or two of their maintenance guys at the hospital. And it's not because of this guy's fault. They did not install these parts properly, and these parts got damaged in the process. Because obviously, as I said before, there is no one trained on these units installed by the Chinese to repair, to service, to do whatever when the need arises. And so as we speak presently, the eye section at the hospital is still without proper functioning AC units to make surgeries a reality. And not just surgeries, laser procedures as well cannot be done. Other procedures that need that sort of environment, they can be done. And so they have to be pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Only because of a very inept government. That's how I can put it down, people. But you will have Roosevelt Scary coming in his very gibberish and deceptive voice, telling you and want to impose on you that that same hospital that cannot perform surgeries as a result. And I'm just touching one area, people. There are many other areas at that main facility that is basically out of order. Go talk to the doctors, go talk to the nurses, go talk to the patients, go talk to the staff there, and they will tell you their stories. This man, in his, usual rantings and usual, always want to pull one off on Dominicans. And that is our present situation. And so I will be saying that until that situation has been rectified, when it is rectified, you can count on yours truly to come back and tell you it was rectified, how it was rectified, and so the patients and the professionals up there are much more comfortable in moving forward. So that is one case in point as per our lack of proper health care in Dominica. So that's one fact. another fact in the interest of time. And so I will not be giving too much details of that, what I'm going to say now, because you know how it is in Dominica. People always want to crucify the whistleblowers and the messengers who bring the message to the fore, and not wanting to look or do some introspection to rectify the problem or problems in moving forward. But they will go the backdoor route and try to find out who is it that is blowing their whistle over and over, and will try to persecute, will try to victimize, and whatever it is, to these people who are only trying to seek better for country. And so this week, I spoke to an individual, no name, no warrant, no gender, an individual who showed me a document whereby that individual went to the central medical store at the hospital. That is the place basically that is supposed to be in charge of all medications coming in and has to be distributed around the hospitals on the different wards. The central medical store. That individual went to that area to get some medication as prescribed by a doctor. Lo and behold, as always, nothing new, that medication could not be made available to that individual. And so that individual was instructed by the staff at the store, look your invoice, look whatever it is that medication most likely will be costing. You now have to seek it in another country outside of Dominica. And so the details were given to that individual to sort out themselves as to getting that medication via another country to get to Dominica so that that medication could be administered to that individual. Now, it doesn't stop there. The pangs of distress doesn't stop there. And so that individual showed me the document. On that document, I saw in print, from Ministry of Health to Ministry of Health, for Ministry of Health, whatever that medication was to be. So the document presented itself, or the people at the Ministry of Health presented that document to that individual as if, well, it was the Ministry of Health purchasing that medication from elsewhere. It was the Ministry of Health getting that medication into Dominica. And it was the Ministry of Health that was supposed to be administering that medication to the individual. I hope you catch that drift. So on that document was written, whatever the medication is, I don't want to go in detail, just to blow that whistle. It was specifically saying whatever the medication is. The request came from the Ministry of Health. The request was for the Ministry of Health, and the medication had to be shipped to the Ministry of Health. But the bombshell in that is that it was the individual who was supposed to foot the bill, not the Ministry of Health. And so it boils back now to the point that I was making before. When this man in his sort of, lunatic rantings come and speak to us, that we have the best in this and the best in that and the best in this. We don't have the best in medication. And so here it is, this poor individual had to take this detailed information from Central Medical Store, go to a bank in Dominica to get that money now, $500 plus, wired to that country. And that transaction had to go through the Bank of America so that they could vet that transaction as authentic. So that medication had to come from one country, transit in another country, and then come to Dominica. And so after that individual had to pay over $500 for what was supposed to be in the first case present in Dominica or be available in Dominica for purchase at a much lesser price. Here it is. That individual had to foot that bill, $500 and counting. And the bank charge or bank charges levied against that individual was pretty close to 200 EC dollars. And so from 500 plus, this individual now was looking at a bill $700 and counting. We're not talking about the time, we're not talking about the energy, we're not talking about the distress that that individual went through and trying now to tag a monetary value towards it. We are just giving you the raw figures, the raw data now. So a medication that was supposed to be available, readily available, I must say, to an individual in this country is now costing in the tune of 700 EC dollars to get it from outside to pass through one country before it gets to Dominica. And so all the charges that must be incurred because of these ring-around transactions, the poor individual now have no choice but to foot the bill. And so it is the same person, the very same person, that will turn around and tell you Nancy stories as it relates to healthcare in Dominica.
You know, fraction for, you have a CT scan, they have a high information. You know, we have an oncology department. You know, we have some of the best bone surgeons in the Caribbean. We have some of the best, very best eye care facility. We talk cutting edge stuff and so forth. So people come. And there are many Dominicans who live in the US Virgin Islands, in Guadeloupe, in St. Martin, in the United States, who come to Dominica for medical care, who come to Dominica for surgery because it's a fraction of what they do in the United States. A lot of people don't have insurance and you have access to the Affordable Care Act of Obama. You have a problem. So we have a lot of Dominicans who come here for medical stuff. As a matter of fact, we should really be looking seriously at health tourism because we have the facilities for it and we have the ability to provide the care and comfort to our patients. And obviously, healthcare is an evolving situation, so that you go to the hospital, you may not get the treatment that you should get from an individual. But by and large, I mean, the nurses are exceptional nurses at the hospital.
All right. Apart from all the things that this brother said, did you hear what I heard? This brother is talking about we should be having health tourism. Yes. Roosevelt said we should be having health tourism in Dominica, people. Guys, this guy needs to check his head. Huh? If we in Dominica cannot be the beneficiary of the basic as it relates to proper and effective up and functioning health situations in Dominica. What is it that we are going even mentioning or dreaming about getting involved in health tourism for? And so again, it boils back to the mind of the man. Always on a mission to deceive. Dominicans, I don't know. I really don't know. But it all boils back to us as a people as to what we should be demanding and what we should be getting. That is it. I can't say it any better. It is 6:30, Dominicans. We only have half an hour. So I will cut short this segment here for now. Let me see or get some of your feedback so that we could have this back and forth. And then I move on to the next segment and get out of your space. But just to drive home the point that a lot of what these people are telling us as it relates to our health care situation in Dominica, it is nothing, absolutely nothing further from the truth. And so it's either these people, they are living in one land and we are living in another. Let me see some of the comments here. Where are those comments, people? All right, Teresa Roll says here, the man, see, people coming from Guadeloupe to seek medical care in Dominica. Yes, Teresa, you are spot on. That is a myth, but it is what it is. Celius Luis says he can say what he wants, and some people say he is a good person. Brother Dave Bertrand says, as the real pastor, Dr. Rodney, would say, Kung Fu Fanchu machine. And talking about Rodney, again, caught red center in a lie at this, whatever they had on Wednesday gone it was, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever night. Roosevelt Skerrit basically was denying things that he said on the record. And so again, it goes into the mind of the man. Randy Rodney speaking to the public, basically recap some things that Roosevelt said publicly. And right then the man tried to defend himself and said categorically that he did not say those things. And so it was very good, it was very wise of Randy to go back and let Roosevelt hear himself on the record saying exactly what he said he didn't say. And so I don't know. I really don't know. But it is there, people. The record is there to show the kind of man that we have sitting in a chair posing as Prime Minister. If a man can lie to you on the basics, just the basics, then it gives us an idea now as to what goes on in much more details, as to bigger and much more elaborate matters. I need not say more. Gilroy, yes, says, those of us who have a front seat are no longer confounded by the lies and behavior of those who manage the health sector in Dominica. Dorival Drago says, Pastor Randy called him out. I just referred to that. Yes, Dory. Brother Serge Resnet, good evening to you. Dana Philbert Peterson says here, I have been saying that for years. What have you been saying? That he's a mental case? I don't know that for a fact. But it is your opinion. Serge Resner says, so who are the Dominicans still supporting this government? That's a very good question. Dale, in terms of, just where you are prying into now. Folks, in the interest of time, we have to move on to the next segment. We woke up to the very unfortunate news last Sunday of a brother in Dominica going about his daily duties in Dominica, only in my mind, based on what I've been seeing and noticing, trying to do good for Dominicans. That is Naryn Murphy, the trendsetter in the Calypso arena. And so we woke up to that news Sunday last, whereby his vehicle parked in front of his yard was basically riddled with 9 bullets, he said. Wires were chopped and basically his vehicle was defaced. And he said there was this intent to basically cause considerable damage to that vehicle by 2 shots going into the area of the transmission. And so whoever it is that did that very act, they really and truly wanted to, disable that vehicle permanently. So we heard that story there. Tuesday of that same week, we heard of an arrest whereby the police went up in the northeastern belt of Dominica and arrested one man in the name of Von Dodds. That's Tuesday morning. Von Dodds' name, when that incident happened, it was, floating around by different individuals. And that was the talk in Dominica as to why some persons chose to link Mr. Dodds to that particular crime. Then I guess your guess is as good as mine. But we are all hearing why these people are making this assumption. And so I am under the impression now, based on what I've been hearing from within, that the police now was really under pressure, as it were, having been hearing this man's name from different quarters, basically trying to tie him to whatever happened to Naryn's vehicle. And so it would be really obnoxious, it would be really sad of a state if the police did not do something by bringing into custody somebody, and that somebody was the name that was sort of just floating around in the air. And so Von Dodds was picked up by the police Tuesday morning. I'm being told from very reliable sources that he was questioned about that matter, and he, in response, vehemently so, denied all connections to that crime. So from Tuesday morning, Wednesday, Thursday, at least 72 hours would have elapsed then. And we know in Dominica, when someone is in police custody, the Constitution states that after 72 hours, once in police custody, that person would either have to be released or be charged for whatever they're being investigated for or about. But up till the time that I came here, when I inquired, so 72 hours has long gone from Tuesday to now. And based on my last fact-finding mission before I came here, from sources close to that case, I was told that Mr. Dodds is still in police custody. So the question of questions now remain. Just why, after 72 hours has elapsed, just why is he still in the custody of the police? Again, your guess is as good as mine as to what may have went on there in terms of the semantics of that matter, but it is a case that we should all be following as to the outcome of that matter. I am hearing different things connected to that matter, but you know, they are not firmed and confirmed as yet, so I will leave out for now. But what I can tell you is that Mr. Von Dodds, before I came here from 6, he was still in the police custody, or in the custody of the police. As to whether if it is that same crime, another crime, or other crimes, they are investigating. That I will not go there. But things are being, you know, coming out from the headquarters, the Roseau headquarters, where he is at this time. So again, Narine Murthy, I again want to empathize with you on that situation, and I want to be very upfront with you guys as well, that you know when things happen in Dominica, we hear all sorts of stories. And so apart from that story, Mr. Von Dodds circulating around Narine's vehicle and the damage caused, other stories were also circulating around as well as to other possible suspects that may have or could have caused the damage to Narine's vehicle. But as a position of fact, one man was picked up and is still presently in police custody. What I knew then, he was being investigated for that crime. What I knew then as a position of fact as well, he vehemently denied having any association to do with that crime. As to the evidence that the police need to, I don't know, and I will not go there. But as I said, it's a case for us to continue to watch. Now, in a related matter, there's a case that is unfolding, I should say, in St. Kitts and Nevis, whereby a prosecutor, a female prosecutor in the name of, what's her name? Let me get that story right, because I always like to, you know, push out the facts. Let me see here. Yes, St. Kitts prosecutor charged with corruption, murder, and cover-up. It says here the Director of Public Prosecutions in St. Kitts and Nevis, that is the DPP, has charged Crown Counsel Prosecutor Chantrice Dorset with serious offenses related to the murder of 29-year-old Akeem Archibald. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force reported that Archibald, a resident from Canary Village, was riding his motorcycle near his home at 9:39 p.m. when a gunman shot him. Archibald was fatally shot on July 20th, 2024, and the main suspect was identified as Kieran Phillip. Dorset is accused of assisting Phillip in fleeing the country to avoid justice. She faces multiple charges, including being an accessory after the fact to murder, attempting to pervert the course of justice, and misconduct in public office and corruption. She is accused of using her position to influence the surrender of the firearm used in the murder under the amnesty program, as well as misconduct and corruption. This is the first time in the country's history that a current attorney and Crown Counsel has been arrested and charged with such serious offenses. The story ends by saying here, St. Kitts and Nevis DPP stressed that Dorset is presumed innocent until proven guilty and warned against speculation that could harm the investigation or trial. Dorset was denied bail and is currently in custody at His Majesty's prison while the case progresses on. And just before coming here, I made a call or two in St. Kitts just to ascertain that bit of the story. And what I got from there is that yes, that happened. This young prosecutor was arrested on Friday. Read the charges that I just read, levied against her. And she will most likely be brought down on Monday, where the charge will be read officially to her in the court. And most likely an application for bail will be made. But your guess is good as mine as to whether bail will be granted or not by the court. But as we speak, as the story said, she is in police custody, locked away. Now, the sources in St. Kitts basically told me that with the arrest of this young lady, there's sort of a breath of fresh air, as it were, where the citizenry now is concerned, basically agreeing with the DPP's office and the legal people there for taking that stance. Because what they have been saying, a number of cases like that have showed up already and nothing was done. And so people are now praising the judiciary system over there for at least trying to nip that one in the bud by making an arrest and putting or levying couple charges against this young lady. If found guilty, the penalty will be very, very stiff indeed. So that is St. Kitts and Nevis attending to their matter. Let me now bring it home to us in Dominica. We too in Dominica, we have been hearing, just like the people in St. Kitts and Nevis have been hearing, and they took a stand. We also in Dominica have been hearing a number of allegations as it relates to people in office, high office that is, who their names have been called in similar cases where corruption and criminality is concerned. What have been done in Dominica? We have not heard of an arrest. We have heard of one or two cases of questioning of these people. But as to levying charges against these people, we have heard nothing in that department so far. And so the question I'm asking now, and I guess you too, you're asking, is it that, the long arm of justice seems to be working in St. Kitts and not in Dominica? Because folks, it is said where there is smoke, there is fire. 100 Frenchmen, it is said, cannot be wrong. And so if we are hearing some names in Dominica, allegedly so, involved in a number of serious crimes in this country, the question must be asked, when, just when, will the people in Dominica, those who are charged with the responsibility of protecting us against these people as it relates to their criminal actions, just when will they rise to the occasion and do justice by their profession? That's the question. And I would really not like to see a day in Dominica where the criminals would feel so emboldened and they would be so brazen that justice does not seem to come their way. And so they will continue to perpetuate and continue to taunt and continue to harass the citizenry of Dominica in more ways than one. So all I'm saying, if it has happened in St. Kitts, it should be able to happen here as well. But I can tell you, I am not one who likes to bury my head in the sand, as it were. So with this regime at the helm, I'm not holding my breath too long. And so those of us who need to see much better a move to investigate, prosecute, and if needs be, bring justice the victim's way in this matter, then it's only a change from this regime will suffice. And I make no bones about it, people. Only a change from this very corrupt regime will suffice. Because where we are in Dominica, I am not one who like to pacify the words. I am not one who like to, quote the words so much that when you get it, you don't know what is there. I am saying to you, the level of corruption, corrupt players, and corrupt activities in Dominica under this regime, the chance of justice is slim to none. And that is just one of the hallmarks of any corrupt regime. They always try to protect their own, even if it is clear as daylight as to what is going on. And so it is when the people now rise to the occasion and deal with a very corrupt regime by booting them out, then we can open up a clean and a new slate to hold people in very high position accountable for their deeds. That is the only way it will be done in Dominica, people. So what transpired in St. Kitts? As we speak, a prosecutor, a member of the judiciary, is behind bars as we speak, awaiting her day in court. That can only happen in Dominica with a change of regime. From a regime to a government. So those of you who want to see that happen in this dispensation, you have something else coming for you. We have 7 more minutes, people, and we got to go. Just before I wrap with you guys, on the Civic Vibes program tomorrow from 6, that is if the good Lord above is willing, we have for the first segment, Ms. Trudy Christian. She will be coming to give us much more detailed information as to some work she and others have been doing with our young people in Dominica as it relates to the debating competitions throughout the secondary schools in Dominica. It's a good thing. And I need you guys to support her, support our young people, and support those who have been working alongside these young people. At least trying to inculcate in our young people some semblance of what it's supposed to be as a people. And so maybe, just maybe out of that exercise with Trudy and others, that we will one day in Dominica realize a debate between our people who presents themselves to represent people in Dominica. That is supposed to be one of our goals. Because it cannot be we just take people from the streets, as it were, put them on a pedestal in terms of representation, and we know nothing about their intentions for us. That's basically what it is. And so I am willing, I am hoping that one day, pretty soon, when that regime is no more, that some sort of, semblance of normalcy can be had again in that department. We long to see that day. So right about now, Trudy and her people, they are planting the seeds. Let's hope that when they germinate and forms that unmovable tree, as it were, then we will be the recipients of their hard work. So that's the first segment. The second segment will be a conversation on the 47th President of America, that is Mr. Donald John Trump. Donald is a man who, like him, hate him, but he is the President of America as we speak. And so none other than Mr. Alex Bruno will be coming to have a conversation with us tomorrow about some of the policies, some of the moves so far of Mr. Donald Trump picking up the 47th position as President of America. Donald Trump is a character of sorts, I can tell you that. So Mr. Alex is a man who deals with the philosophy, the ideologies of politics, and so Alex will come and share some of his thoughts with us tomorrow as it relates to Mr. Donald Trump. So you want to be in tune for that conversation. Your question, comments, feedback, they're welcome. All right? I know it's going to be a very sort of divisive conversation, but it is what it is. We are not scared to speak about things that are the reality. I know some people love Donald Trump to death, and some people hate him to death as well. And so, that's reality. And so I expect that conversation, some people will like to hear what they will be hearing tomorrow. Some people will say, you know something, let me turn off that thing tomorrow because they're not liked. So I understand that. But it's a conversation that must be had. So far, Donald Trump has signed into law a lot of stuff in America that, it's very controversial. So we'll be touching into some of these controversial matters tomorrow on the Civic Vibes program. So guys, whatever is left of your night, 7 o'clock is upon us. I'm here for an hour with you each and every Saturday. So I just wish you guys a pleasant good night, and please make the best use of whatever is left of your night. I think we have 2 minutes, so let me just see if I can run through one or two of your comments on the second segment that I touched on, really criminality in Dominica. Chun Chun says, I know the tide is adrift and it's all about time for Dominica to feel the drift. Celius Luis writes here, they just can't touch my money. They will go to jail. Margaret Wallace, you're listening, good evening to you and watching as well. Celius Luis said here, I started giving them money from 1985 all the way up to 2000. That's when I stopped. Luis, make that comment make sense for me. I need to catch up on the flow of that conversation here. All right, Diddy Carrot says money she had to pay her workers that's working on her house they took. Anyway, that's another conversation there. I will make it make sense after I finish that program, yeah? But folks, that is it for me here in terms of the information tonight. I want to thank you very much, as I said, for tuning in each and every Saturday from 6 o'clock. Let me just leave a song into your hearing. Once that song is done, then yours truly will be out. All right. There's a song of Brother Nasir, right, that I fell in love with sometime. It's called Vain Thoughts. And I think I'm going to share this one with you guys, yeah? Before I leave. Yeah, this one. Thank you, folks. Bye-bye.